Welcome to the Reasonable Doubt Season 3 After Show. I'm Shan Boodram, certified sex educator with a master's in psychology, host of the intimacy-centric podcast Lovers, naturally a huge fan of Reasonable Doubt. So we have so much to discuss as we are on this wild ride. There's gonna be some spoilers in this discussion, so if you haven't watched yet, stop right now, go to Hulu and press play. Then come back and let us know what you think. So without further ado, let's bring on the woman of the hour, our Jax, Emayatzy Corineladi. Yes! That's it. That's it as you deserve. More. Thank you. That was it. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you about November 12th, okay? My daughter turned 5 that day, went to Chuck E. Cheese, put her to bed, raced to the TV, raced to watch it. What an incredible episode, what an incredible performance from you, and an insane range that you had to go through. What was it like filming that finale?
That finale, everything that you felt, everything that all the fans felt, I mean, that's what it was for me, you know. When that script came through and seeing what happens, you know, what happens with Ozzy and just everything, it was gut-wrenching reading it. So it was exactly the same, you know, when it came time to actually do it on set and being in those emotions and in that real space, you know, it was a tough one. It was a tough one all around. The entire episode.
Yeah, because we rode the highs with you, the lows, the uncertainties, the certainties, and on that note, the big punchline, Jax quit.
Jax quit. Jax gone. She out. She out. Enough is enough.
How was it feeling Jax's frustration and then her certainty? It was almost really interesting how it happened too, because we're used to Jax being fiery, but she did a very quiet exit.
Yes. And you know what? I think that was so much more powerful for that moment. She had dealt with so much. There had been such a buildup and a buildup and a buildup to the point where, you know, you reach that moment. There's no need to yell. There's no need to scream. You know, the silence says enough. The silence is so loud, and I think that's where Jax was internally. And after dealing with everything that was happening that day, you know, with her and the partners, it just became a moment where she realized, oh, this is it. I don't need to say another word. This is it. Her actions spoke so loud, and the emotions of it, that was really an emotional moment for me too. You know, just for the character, seeing her finally step into her own power in the way that she knew she needed to be. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people really understood that. It resonated.
Oh, it was big time. My favorite shot, there was a lot of great shots, but one of my favorite shots of the finale was, you kind of almost expected the Jerry Maguire start where she's in her basement or in this small spot. It was the zoom out to the big name on the building. Yes. Like, this is it, she has arrived.
Yeah, man, that was really everything, you know, and I think people have been wanting that for Jax for a long time, you know, and I think that really Jax felt like, I'm already a boss here. I'm doing well, I'm a boss here, they respect me, only for her to realize, you know, it's really not. You deserve so much more, you know, so her having that realization and realizing, you know what, I deserve more than this, you know, I contribute more than this. It's time for me now to step into my real power and do the thing.
What did that mean for you personally as a performer?
Oh my gosh, you know, being able to play this kind of multi-layered role, this woman who is strong and powerful, all those things, but she has so much vulnerability.
Yes.
She has so many flaws that I love. I just love that about her. It makes her such a real, full character, a real, full person. So to be able to play that now up into this third season and have it culminate with her having this moment of just such strength and power where she walks out on her own, it's just such a gift as an actor to have that. You know, we've been able to go on this ride with her and see her up, you know, her highs at the firm, see her at the low, and then really see her walk into what everyone knew. Everyone knew she's bigger. She's bigger than that firm.
100%. Jax is really everybody's sweetheart. Everybody at home loves her, feels a protected nature over her. But that's not often the case with the characters around her in the show. And maybe they have the guise of protection, but it doesn't always end up that way. So she is this badass, incredibly smart, dynamic, stunning, well-dressed, put together powerhouse. But like you said, there is this vulnerability underneath. Was there a moment for you where you're like, oh, she is me and I'm her?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. You know, especially just being in this business, you know, there's a level of just strength you have to have. You know, there's a certain toughness that has to be there. You know, you get rejection every single day, all day.
Not
Anyone
you.
who's trying to be.
Not you.
Girl, please. Yes, of course, you know. And you just have to be able to keep pushing. You can't listen to the noise that comes, you know. And so Jax has that, you know. Everyone has been telling her for the longest, you know what I mean, that she isn't who she knows that she is, you know. So to be able to get to the point where she is in her life, she's had to deal with a lot of rejection and had to prove a lot of people wrong. So I definitely relate to her in that way, you know. I understood her in that way. That was a part of my you know, that kind of just resilience that she has as a woman. I understood that clearly, you know. And then when you have that, it can be difficult to then be vulnerable.
Yes.
Because why? I need people to think that I'm here, I'm tough, I'm strong. You can't affect me. You can't permeate this thing that I've created, you know. But, you know, I've since learned, and I think Jax has learned as well, that it's the vulnerability. It's the vulnerability that gets you where you need to be. It's the vulnerability that allows people to fully relate to you and to connect with you, you know. So that is something definitely just as a performer that I've been able to connect with.
Well, vulnerability is a side effect or a benefit of safety.
Yes.
And we've just seen her in so many incredibly unsafe scenarios and people scheming behind her back. But there were moments where she got to let her guard down and let her softness prevail. Was that beautiful to do as a performer?
So good. You know, that's another thing that I loved about this season, but we also, you know, touched on it last season in season 2, you know, with Jax and her stepfather and everything that she experienced there. But really being able to fully understand when we went into those flashbacks, you know, with Jax as a child, and the beautiful, beautiful actor River who portrayed young Jax. I mean, come on. She was so good. And that was such a difficult role for her to play, you know. But to be able to go down that path and really see the things that Jax saw, the things that she had to witness as a child, and you add that to season 2, and you add that to season 1, and it explains so much of why she has this shield, why she has this armor. And it also has explained how it's fueled her to get to where she is in her career, how she doesn't let things affect her. But it also explains a lot, you know, in terms of her relationships and how she moves through life, you know. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, you know. So that was a tricky one. That was a tricky one. But the vulnerability is the thing that she needed to become the woman that she is. And we get to see how there really was no safety. There was no safety, and she's had to try to figure that out along the way.
I'm glad that you punctuated with that, because on that note, let's talk about the relationship with Lewis. This is a very contentious relationship online. Some people love it, some people hate it, a lot of people hate it, but that was a safe space for her, especially this season. But nonetheless, we've watched this relationship toil between betrayal and intimacy and lies and complete honesty and vulnerability. When you look at this story, do you see a love story, or do you see a story of a cycle of people who can't quit each other?
I see both. I see both. You know, Jax and Lewis deeply love each other, period. Is there a cycle there that needs to be broken? Yes, both things can be true, you know, and I think that they've really done the work this season. And we as an audience really got to witness them doing the work. We got to witness them in real life moments, see them try to implement the right tools and see, oh, that's not working, let me try something else. And that's another gift of the show, just on a side note. But I think that both things are true. You know, they're really trying to figure it out. There is a cycle that they recognize that doesn't work.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. We got to see that in the first season, you know. And that was one of my favorite moments. We see them, they're having fun, they're laughing together at church, and then we realize later, oh, these people are not even together, they're separated. And now they're beefing like they just met each other off the street, you know what I mean? And we got to see why. Why are they like this? How are they able to come back and then go so far apart and come back again? So there is a cycle there. And I think this season we've really been able to witness them trying to break that cycle for themselves, for their children. They're trying to be better people. And I think that Jax and Lewis, their marriage is a wonderful, wonderful reflection on the realities of marriage, for better or worse, whether you like it or not, because I can say, as playing Jax, I don't think, if we were to go back in the past and you asked her, girl, would you stay with your man if he cheated on you and had a side baby, you still gonna be with him? She would be like, absolutely not, I'm gone. Matter of fact, I'm already drafting up the paperwork. She would be done. But you don't know what's gonna happen until you're in that situation. And that's what Jax had to really grapple with.
Now, when you see all of the Lewis hate online, or just wanting something different for Jax, do you understand that from a perspective of, as a culture, of seeing black women with men who drain them, how that can be very exhausting? And what would you say to a viewer who does feel a little exhausted by it and wants something different for Jax?
Well, you know what? I don't think that Jax and Lewis are the poster child for just a completely dysfunctional marriage to where, she has this black man who's just doing her dirty. I don't think that that's the case. I think that what we witnessed with Jax and Lewis are two broken people in a marriage trying to figure it out. And you make mistakes along the way, you know what I mean? And there are mistakes that you feel sometimes are unforgivable. You do not know how you're going to get past these things. But the thing that I believe redeems Lewis, whether we like him or not, agree with him or not, we get to see the truth of this man. We see this man fighting for his marriage. He really loves his wife. He loves his family. And he's made a choice that has been, we all know, is absolutely terrible. You have a whole nother child. However, we see him trying to do better by her in that regard. We get to see all of the inner workings of it. I think it was such a gift to be able to see him experience his grief about, having had this child and now the child is lost. Jax having to, really console him through that was a tough thing for me to do as an actor. It really was. I didn't understand it. It didn't make sense to me. I'm like, this man had this baby. Why am I here now portraying this woman who is strong and all these things? Now I have to rub his back while he's crying over this other woman and the baby. And it just made no sense to me. But I had to take myself out of it, just like I did when I found out that he was even cheating with Tony last season. I had to take myself out of it and understand, for one, this isn't a foreign thing. Jax is not the first woman this has happened to. This happens.
Yes.
How many side babies do we hear about? Whether we agree about it or not, it's something that happens. And I had to put myself in her shoes and really understand what it would take for a woman like Jax, of her strength, of her power, to be able to get past a moment like this. And I personally think that she hasn't really gotten past it. You know what I mean? There's still hurt there. That is still going to be present. And it doesn't excuse Lewis or any of the sort. But again, we get to see this couple who is trying to figure it out. And ultimately, we don't have to agree with their choices. But as long as we see two people who are living in their truth, trying to do what's best for them, and the way that they're doing it, that is what, for me, makes these two people who aren't the stereotypical black couple she's with this man who's bringing her down. I don't think that at all. I really don't. I think that Lewis is a good guy who made some terrible decisions, and they have affected him, they've affected the marriage, they've affected this woman. He's gonna have to deal with the repercussions, but I think they're both in it for the long haul.
I really feel like I'm sitting here talking to Jax right now. It's actually lighting me up in so many ways.
May I come in?
Sure.
So this season we meet Jax's dad, and we're on a roller coaster ride with that one. In the end, we learn that there is a scheme to try to get money out of Jax. What do you think comes next for their relationship after this bombshell?
Girl, I don't know. I can't even tell you. I really don't know. Because again, it's Jax allowed herself to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
She allowed herself to be open to a relationship with her father, to healing, to trying to move forward. I think she realized she does have this void and she wants to try to fill it. And then finding this out, it just becomes, now I gotta put the guards back up now, because now I don't know. Now I just as I thought, can I trust you or not? So time will tell what is going to come of the relationship between Jax and Eddie. That's gonna be a tricky situation.
You played that scene brilliantly. all the layers that were present, getting to see young Jax and seeing her in that moment, as well as seeing the powerhouse Jax who's had to make the hard decisions. It was brilliant.
Thank you. That was a tough scene. And Richard Brooks is just a fantastic actor. I mean, I just love working opposite him as my dad. It's just wonderful.
Monica, thank you for coming.
Well, I'm surprised you called.
Well, you were right. You said I only cared about Ozzy when there were stakes. That's true. The stakes now, though, damn near insurmountable. That is, if you weren't also right about the other thing. There is a part of me that lives for this shit, but that also means I'm real good at my job. I am willing to put aside our differences in order to get back to our common goal, keeping Ozzy Edwards from prison. And I need the people who know him best on that stand. You said it yourself, no one knows him better. You on that stand will make a big difference in this case. You'll speak to his character and your relationship to him as his agent. That's it. We need you, Monica. Ozzy needs you.
Always has, and always will. I'm glad we're finally on the same page.
These two had social media talking this season. Let's bring out Tim Joe, who plays the always lovable Daniel, and Brandee Evans, who played Monica, the woman who had us all on edge. All right. What is the wildest fan theory you saw about season 3?
Oh.
I guess the wildest one that it was like, now how? Somebody was like, did Bill have something to do with it? I was like, get out of here. You're just making up stuff now. But yeah.
Look, the way he was acting, I understand why they thought that way. I mean, he was acting real suspect.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Anyone that stood out for you?
You know, I think that just hearing all of the theories of who possibly could have killed Wendy, I mean, there were just so many, you know, from Kristen, you know, to Ozzy, you know. Somebody even said, well, you know what, it's Corey coming back because he want to make a move. I said, now come on, now, that don't make no sense. Come on, fans. But that might have been the craziest
I think
one.
we just wanted Morris Chestnut back
That's
somehow.
all
all it
Just say you
was.
want him back.
Anyway.
He ain't kill nobody.
So there were so many underlying themes of this season. Kerry Washington says, and has this beautiful phrase, that relationships are as sick as their secrets. And I feel like that was actually a huge theme of this season as well. So what would you say to your character's relationship between confidentiality and withholding important information, from keeping people on a need-to-know basis and actually having harmful secrets?
Tim?
I mean, it's very difficult for Daniel. I mean, because there's an aspect of, he's always pursued love. I mean, he's always put himself out there. But in this instance with Kristen, it's the first time he's not actively pursuing love. And it's gotten closer to him without him. By the time it's began, it's too late. So I don't feel like it's something that he has manipulated to get information. It's just something that has happened, and now he's trying to balance this incredible love story that's unfolding for him, while also being loyal and loyal to Jax and being a professional investigator. And there are times when it benefits one another to be in this relationship, but I think he is, you know, that Jean-Claude Van Damme commercial where he's like got his two legs on these like two semi trucks, and then they're going farther and farther away. That's what Daniel's doing throughout the season. He's got both legs on these semi trucks, and it's just getting wider and wider and wider until the finale.
So it sounds like you're siding with him. Empathizing.
Yeah.
Because you still was telling secrets and lying and whatnot. At the end of the
Stealing
day.
diaries.
Yeah, they're very, very difficult. Yeah.
The trust. When he said loyalty, I thought loyalty without boundaries is the problem. And we all know Miss Monica had no boundaries.
Not a one.
At all. I mean, she knew what was happening with him, and she was aiding in all of that. So she's just as much to fault. She's a lot to fault, actually.
What was interesting about Jax is that there were a lot of secrets within family which kind of blurred that line between intergenerational information flow. What do the kids get to know? What does her mom even tell her? Do you think that her relationship with secrets is healthy?
No, I don't. And I think that's, a lot of people were able to relate to that specific trauma. You know, how many of us have had those families and those parents where you know, ooh, you didn't know that that's actually your uncle, ooh, that was your cousin, and, but no one talks about it, you can't talk about it, but you know, and all of that, you know. I think that's what she's been dealing with, and that's what a lot of people deal with. You don't know who to trust, how to trust, when to tell, what to tell, you know, all of that. All of that really came to the forefront in that particular storyline.
Well, we have a star-studded couch here. It's such an honor to have all of you, and a star-studded season.
Indeed.
The guest stars, the surprises, it had everybody online going crazy. So we had Brandee Evans, of course. We had Cash Doll, Cordell Beckham, and then Lori Harvey.
Yes.
Any stories that you can share about what it was like working with these actors?
Well, I got a story. So last year we went to honor our showrunner and creator Ramla Muhammad at an event, and you know, being around Emayatzy, I mean, there are just two people, well, three people, Ramla included, three people that just caught everybody's eye in that room: Emayatzy, Ramla, and Brandee Evans. And I ran into Brandee. I just can't get the image of Brandee. When I saw Brandee, I was like, ooh, she's somebody. And I remember the dress you were wearing, the way your hair looked and everything.
Big old hair.
And you actually came up to us and you said, I love your show.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna be on your show. And in my mind, I was like, yeah, this is gonna happen.
I did.
You said
it's
that.
on my vision board. It's been on my vision board. And I was sitting with Ramala, the finale of season 2. And I got invited over to the producer's house, and they were like, we're gonna watch it. You're the only one that's not involved in the show in some way. I was like, so I called my best friend. I was like, I'm going to meet my new showrunner and producers. And I just had manifested. It's been on my vision board. So now I have the season wrap party picture up there, like how it started versus how it's going.
So when it was announced, like on the trades that it was Brandee Evans, I was like,
Look at that.
look at that. It was just, you know. It was
I
beautiful.
signed the change.org when it didn't get picked up fast enough for season 3 in my spirit. If you Google it, you will see my name at the top of the change.org. I was like, I should probably tell my PR what I did in case it comes out. So yeah, that's.
Well, they didn't make that mistake for season 4.
Yes.
It was undeniable. The fans, I think, have spoken.
Yeah.
They've spoken.
Well, speaking of star-studded, the legendary Terry Vaughn, who we know from the Steve Harvey Show, of course, and This Is Us, and she directed episode 7.
Episode 6.
It's episode 6.
Yes.
That episode was so emotional, so powerful, so relatable, so riveting. What can you tell us about working with Terry?
Terry is an actor. You know what I mean? She's an actor, so she approached it from that perspective, you know, just from the inside out. And for me personally, that just made it just makes the process so much easier. You know, you understand it more when you have someone who's speaking that specific language. They know what it feels like in an actor's mouth and an actor's body before it even comes out. So then you add that to just her being a fantastic director, and it really just made for a wonderful, wonderful episode.
She had great music on set too. She always set the tone.
She did.
By, you know, in Video Village, she had some dope music, and she just made you feel safe. But it's the actor in it all, of knowing how to get the note to you without breaking you as an actor, or making sure that you're staying on what she's looking for. She lets you play. A lot of people don't let you play, so I love that Terry was big on letting us play.
Yeah, and between sets, I remember we shot at one location and had to walk a couple blocks to the next location. She held my hand, we talked about our families and what brought her out to Atlanta and everything. And then when we get to set, I remember just like the imagery of, I felt like a dove, because, you know, as a director, when she says action, it feels like she's just going like this. And you get to just go. And that's how I felt with Terry.
That's a beautiful compliment.
It is.
Brandee, I want to talk to you about this episode, and I'm glad that you were so passionate about it, because I know that there's a personal stake in this as well, of seeing someone care for their mother in a time of need. Why was this episode so special to you?
Oh, well, that one took me out of here. That was very difficult as a caregiver for my mom. It was just like, please let her make it. Just please let her make it through that. We all know what it feels like to it's like you're the daughter, but you're also like the mama in a second. So I understood what Jax was saying when she was like, no, like you're driving, I'm driving right behind you. Like, and you need to let me take care of you. They're not gonna know how to pick you up. And those are the words that I would say to people too. Like, no, I got it. You know, like they're not gonna know how to take care of you better than me. And I feel like that's what Jax felt like. You're my mama, and I know how to take care of you better than anybody you could bring in this house.
So,
You know, I do think I actually should go see Lincoln Culpepper again. I think there's some more there.
why don't we start with your girlfriend, Kristen?
Girlfriend? No. Why? No, I'm
So you're not sleeping with her?
joggers.
What?
September, spring, summer.
Daniel?
Okay.
All right, Tan, let's talk about Daniel. A very complicated, fascinating character where deception and empathy almost exist in the same breath. He lives in a world where information is currency, but now intimacy is kind of king as well.
Yeah.
So what was it like playing all these dynamic layers?
You know, it's interesting because I think Daniel is pretty simple, straightforward. He's a man on a mission. He's loyal. He's dependable. But
What mission?
well, whatever the case, he's always whatever Jax needs. He's the guy to call, and he can do it. And he's resourceful and can get it done. But this case, he's not prepared for how complicated it gets. So that's where I think you see Daniel, who is so reliable, that he's getting confused. He's a man who I think we've seen since season 1 desperately wants to be in love and be loved. And so he finally gets it, but it's not exactly on the terms that is safe for him or safe for his career or his friendships that he cherishes the most. So it was complicated to play that. And as Tim, I was so excited to be able to see this aspect of Daniel's life. Also because just as an Asian man, I have never seen that personally in the things that I've seen. So as the relationship started to get more romantic, I was having, I don't know if it's imposter syndrome or something. I was like, no, Daniel wouldn't do that. Like Daniel's, and then I remember going to Ramla and saying, Ramla, like, I'm like, can like, how is he going to get sexy and fall in love? And she's like, he's always been that since season 1. Like, I've always seen that in him. It's just now it's his turn to get there. And so that night I went home and rewatched my scenes from season 1, and she was right. She actually did plant those seeds of the journey that Daniel eventually went on this season.
And speaking of that journey, so everybody was saying that Daniel is fine AF on Instagram, okay? On social media, people were just saying he is so fine. Crystal made the comment that he had a black girl glow up. What do you think?
It's I don't see myself that way. But if anything,
As fine?
Tim, you fine.
Thank you. Hey, after episode 5, I've got a lot of encouragement from Instagram. So I've
I
read
love
those.
sliding in DMs as encouragement.
Encouragement. So I feel filled from that, but I did have this difficulty. I almost felt like as soon as I got the haircut and changed the clothes and got new glasses, I was like, I can't find Daniel. I don't know where he is. Is this Daniel? And that's when I had to sort of step out and in a very, I have to admit, I realized there were still judgments I had against the character as Tim. And as actors, that's the last thing we want to do is judge our characters. And there's a part of me that reserved this judgment against this character that I had loved and built. And so the experience of transforming him on the exterior made me fall in love with him more. And it was almost a strange acceptance of myself.
I can't think of a better way to tee up, and that was so beautifully said, than to ask a question of you, Brandee, when it comes to Monica. It could be very easy to judge your character. it was a character that had a very complex relationship with a minor that was egregious and inappropriate and showed the ways in which power in the guise of care could be weaponized to continue a relationship under secrecy that was extremely harmful for the child. And what did you want people to feel when you stepped into Monica's skin?
First of all, as an auntie of 6 baby boys, I'm getting chills now thinking about it. I could never really think about her and what she does. I had to completely separate it. I don't think I ever said 13 until you said that on the stand. So for me, I wanted you to be disgusted. I wanted you to want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's such a fascinating point. And an interesting choice that the writers made, I think intentionally, is we never really got to know why. We never really saw the origin story of Monica as to why she made those decisions, because there's a fine line between empathy and excusing.
Right.
But
I wrote my own ideas of why.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that she didn't have the marriage that she wanted. She lost the baby. I locked all that in. So you don't have the man, you don't have the baby. So you feel like you're teaching him. So Ozzy, in a way, is a son, but also a man that you didn't have. So he's giving you everything. You feel like you're teaching him. Everything he's learning. You taught him how to tie a tie. You taught him how to dress. You taught him how to speak. And so it was a little bit of validation that she had in herself. And that's why she said that to Jax too. The last part I didn't get at home, validation. So Monica felt validated in that sense. Someone needs me. She needed to feel needed in every way.
you did such a wonderful job. You're so great at telling these very complicated characters who are stunning and glamorous and powerful at the same time. Was it hard to, like you said, because there's no touch points between you and Monica. Were you able to put her away at the end of the day?
Absolutely. You know, fun story, Kyle Berry, who actually plays Ozzy, we went to the gym a lot. We would work out. We would go riding scooters, you know, meet me at the belt line. Like, we literally just had to go separate from what was happening. It was so heavy. We all went rock climbing, you know what I mean? So we just always had something going on as a cast, and also the protection that Ramala and production and Hulu provided us with therapists on set. We always felt safe. Even if I was like, I'm good, y'all, they're like, okay, we're outside your trailer if you want to talk.
That's such beautifully said. Again, a very heavy topic and handled really responsibly, and I'm glad to hear all the behind the scenes things that were happening, and including getting to see how you work. Writing that subtext for you to be able to perform it with the layers that you did makes real perfect sense.
Thank you.
Speaking of writing, people on social media had a lot to say this episode and a lot of their own opinions. Like you said, it was bringing up such important conversations that aren't usually had. So Jax goes through this coup that is happening at BHS with her partners trying to undermine her, and it brought up a lot for people. So a fan took to social media to say, Jax in her workplace scenes infuriates me so much because that environment is so real and so underestimated. Now, ultimately, Bill does end up defending Jax, and of course we know that Corey goes in there, but how did you feel going through this as Jax?
You know, they ended up defending her, but they didn't really start that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, what is that? Why aren't men as quickly to defend, to support, to lift up, you know, a black woman that is also in power, in a position of power, like Jax is? Why not from the beginning? You know, that was for me to be able to portray that kind of storyline in that way was a real gift, because it is such a common and prevalent storyline. You know, I've met a lot of people that reach out to me that are women who are in power, who are in these different kinds of spaces, who have this experience, and it's the men around them who just are jealous or envious or, you know, just all the things. You know, they're not willing to be there to lift up, you know. So I was glad that they came back around, but the question is, why? Why not from the beginning? You know, that makes it a little difficult, I think, for Jax to be able to trust in that way.
Another fan on social media said, I think Jax overplayed her hand. I believe Monica has a nuclear bomb to drop on Ozzy's case. She knows where all the bodies are buried. I'm glad Jax exposed her, but she's coming back swinging hard. So in that last scene of the finale, Monica shows up at Jax's new office with a gun in the final moments. What do you actually think that Monica's end game is here? And what's the genuine emotion that is driving her to do something, well, I guess ... we don't really know.
Right. I feel like she came to take Jax out. you, at this point, if you think back to the garage, she said, it's all your fault, Jax. Like, she was very clear that this is your fault. Before Jax came in her life, everything was great. She had Ozzy right where she needed him, and she's the one that made him start maybe taking a step back and realizing that I'm being abused. This is not okay. That was Jax, sending him to therapy. You know, all of those things. And so in this moment, now Ozzy's gone, Monica has lost it. So she's lost her job, she's lost her life, she's lost her man in her mind. So at this point, Jax has to go. And she didn't want to see Jax living her life. I feel like she's been stalking Jax and watching, because how does she know exactly where to pull up? I feel like she's been waiting and waiting and baiting that moment since she was leaning over that rail at the funeral when she didn't get invited. And to be outside, she was like, oh no, you're not gonna keep having your life if I don't have mine anymore. So.
Underneath the rage, what do you think that was? Is it embarrassment, shame?
It's everything. It's embarrassment, it's shame. No one's gonna hire her again. Like, in my mind, I imagine she's working at the top agency. The word has spread, and we know how that goes.
So in this episode, we saw a lot of things happen. That ending scene in the end with Kristen, with those famous words, I probably won't ever see you again, right? So we went on this emotional roller coaster, this relationship. Someone on Twitter said, it's something about Ozzy's sister that's not sitting well with me. Them nerd glasses are not fooling anybody. Daniel and Kristen had this intense cat and mouse romance where you were both using each other for information. What do you think happens in the end? Do you guys reconcile in the end now that you know that she's not the murderer?
What's the line? Probably not.
Joggers. September, spring, summer is my answer. Yeah.
It's really interesting too, because he says, I love you to Kristen, and Kristen says, I love you back. But we never actually see how he reveals himself in that relationship.
Well, I will say, in that last scene, when Daniel does get to say his last words or see Kristen again, I did intentionally have Daniel's hands behind his back. Because if they were by his side, if they were not held together behind his back, I feel like he wants to hold her. He wants to hug her. He wants to kiss her. So he, I think, is broken by this. You know, his accidental falling in love is really. I think he came out a little scarred and definitely hurt over this.
I peeped that you walked backwards in that scene. I watched it again this morning, and I was like, the way you back away from her was just like, I don't want to, but I got to.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
I have a final question for everybody here, because this was kind of like an intense debate topic, even when I was chatting with everybody just before the show. So a fan says, Sally has no room to talk to anybody after she went against Chris's advice and put up their house's collateral season. And then, of course, the controversial relationship that Sally had. What did you guys think about that? Were you happy to see that?
I don't know how I feel about that yet. You know, it depends on how he treating your girl. Like, I don't know. But I also feel like Sally's gonna make him ride for Jax. Like, she's not gonna play those games. But I also am just like, I don't know, Sally. I don't want Sally hurt.
Yeah, I'm not with it. I think it's too soon.
Right.
I don't think it's right. I think Sally just ready to be out in the streets.
Right.
It's just like, well, just wait a minute. Just wait a minute, you know. But when Jax tried to tell her that, you know, now I'm a hater.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Now I'm a hater. You know what I mean? So I personally, you know, I don't think that it's I don't think
see
it's
it
right.
lasting.
Yeah, I don't think it's right.
I just love Sally so much. I mean, you know, I often rewatch scenes with you and Nefertari.
Yes, it's really good.
They're so good. So the drama Ramla side of me wants to see this friendship get a little splintered, just to see what happens between you and Sally. And the part of me, Tim, wants to see more of Joseph. So I want Sally and Bill to continue continue down this path. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
You're a fan of complicated relationships.
yeah, I guess so.
All right, I have some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
So ready.
Go.
I know you're ready. I know you're good with a gun, okay? All right, what is a line that you improvised that stayed in?
Oh. It's all your fault, Jax.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, really?
That most of the garage scene was improvised.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all your fault. Mm-hmm.
What is an episode you rewatched the most?
I haven't seen yet.
6.
Episode 5, it was my first intimate scene. I will admit, I just watched it over and over, and I was like, how is a sex scene so cute? Because when I did it, I thought it was gonna be intimate and like graphic, and I was like, ooh, this is gonna be graphic. I was like, to my wife, I was like, this is so cute. How's a guy going down on a
Listen,
girl
after
so cute?
whenever you whispered, I didn't envision it cute.
Me
You
either.
guys didn't mention the
I was like,
subtext.
what did he say?
What did he say? That's my after question for you. All right, best Jax outfit of the season.
Red suit in the finale.
Anything when you see Jax's arms. You got the best shoulders and arms, I'll say that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, hardest scene to film this season.
The scene with Ozzy, the scene in the kitchen when I'm telling him that they're coming to get him, and and he looks back and he says, "I love you, Jax, but
That's my
he
favorite
says, I
scene.
hate you or something." It's just it was hard.
I'm so mad at you.
Yeah.
But I love you
Yeah.
too. Oh,
Yeah.
so beautiful. Yeah.
What's the twist you did not see coming?
That gun at the end. What? Absolutely not. I thought she'd go to jail or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel got a sex scene. Didn't see that coming.
I just saw it.
Which character would you want defending you in court?
Jax.
Jax.
Absolutely.
I would
Jax all
want her
day.
to.
Which character would you defend in court? Their character.
Would I defend? Absolutely would.
Yeah.
Got to defend Daniel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is Eddie really sober or nah?
Oh no.
Yes.
You think so?
Yes. I do.
I think for now.
I do. I think the best.
I think I know the answer here, but should Lewis have let Tony have that one night?
Hey, I'm sorry. No.
I think the first answer was the right
I
answer.
know, right? Absolutely.
Favorite music cue / song placement this season?
Oh, that's hard. Oh man. Oh man, that's hard.
This season I've got to think about it, but last season it was Luther. It was Luther and Lewis running up them those stairs. This season,
So many good ones.
oh, it's tough.
And honestly, Luke James' new song. Oh my gosh, that it's just heartbreaking. It's so beautiful. But then I keep hearing no more drama too right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, this is personal, but I've been playing Annie Up for my daughter since she was born. So when I got to see that be, when Daniel's investigating Ozzy's house, that played over out, I was very pleased.
Speaking of music real quick, Kyle Berry's real song is in there.
Yeah.
And it's in the finale scene when he's like, I'm the man, like I'm just like, love. So that was great.
So much love for the artists on this one. It's just so beautiful to see the celebration that you guys all got, both as characters and as individuals in this. All right, Team Daniel and Kristen or nah?
I'm Team Daniel and Kristen. I know it shouldn't be, but I think that she was just caught up. Her daddy wasn't crap.
That's true, but no, she had ulterior motives, and she should have just been more, forward facing and done it the right way. So no, because now I can't trust you, and you can't
That's
trust her
true.
either. Daniel,
I was,
you cannot trust her.
well, it looks like I'm employed, at least until I take the bullet. I'm employed at Jax's new firm, so you didn't fire me, so thank you.
Right.
On that note, biggest legal ethics violation this season?
Ooh. I mean. I think some people felt like, maybe Jack shouldn't have, had him to the house and all the things, got to do stuff by the book, and you're supposed to be, in treatment and that kind of thing, So she allowed things to get personal in her trying to protect him, So that might have been a little tricky, but.
Speaking of tricky, could you be friends with your character in real life?
Hell,
absolutely.
no, absolutely not.
Absolutely.
I don't know that girl.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. In the beginning, if you asked me season 1, I would've been like, no, I don't like that. Yeah, it's not my style. But like, come season 3, I'm like, I am Daniel. He's the closest character to like who Tim is in real life, and maybe that's why I was so resistant to him. Yeah. So I was like,
And this might be a little season 4 guess here, but what character is most likely to actually commit a crime, do you think?
Angela? Crystal?
I think Sally.
Crystal. Who you got?
yeah, I got Crystal.
Yeah,
Let's say Crystal.
telling you.
Angela Grovey.
And this is just for fun. Season 4 wish. What's your one wish for season 4 if you get to put a wish of what happens?
Peace. Peace. True, for real, peace for Jax. It's been so much. I wish some real peace for her in some kind of way that lasts for a minute. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I hope Monica goes even more diabolical. Just go ahead and take her out of here in the worst way ever. I want her to be psycho even more. Yeah, because it's not over. You know she ran probably.
And I would say, if you look at the main cast, almost everybody has gotten baptized into the show with intimacy, and so we've only got one person left, Crystal. So
let's give
season
her-
4, let's get Crystal some love.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Yes.
Literally.
That's what
my
I'm
season
talking
4
about.
wish. Yeah.
Well, speaking of things not being over, the season ended with it very clear that this is not over. In fact, it's new beginnings and possibly a fatal
Ending
end.
for somebody.
Yeah. Any season 4 predictions? Anything you can give us?
I have predictions, but I'm scared to say it.
I hope that she just is a terrible shot and she done missed it and
Yes.
just shot the painting off the wall or
Yeah.
something, and that's the only thing that
The way she was
happens,
holding
you
that
know,
gun looked
so.
like she went to the gun range for a while. She had some time.
Because anybody here could be killed. It could have been anybody here, right? So, but I want to hear this crazy prediction.
I'm scared to say it because what if it's what they writing? I'm
Like, oh, that's a good
I
idea.
feel like, first of all, we're not getting rid of Jax. There's no way. But I feel like she shot Lewis. I know. I feel like she shot Lewis, and I feel like he's not okay.
No.
The reason I say that is because things were so, y'all have gone through so much, and we finally saw a healthy marriage.
Yeah.
We finally saw these babies come back, and now they can talk to parents again, like, Mama, can I help in the kitchen? You know, all these things that she's wanted. Her mama's okay. Her daddy's back in her life, and she's met a sister. What would break Jax? Losing her husband. And then the audience is going to be rooting for Jax. And she got this new firm, like she's got everything she needs and wants right now. And I think that taking Lewis, and Lewis would be the type to jump in front of that bullet for her.
No, she just hit his shoulder. She just hit his little shoulder. That's it. He'll be fine. You know, he got those muscles. He'll be fine.
But the truth is that does make Monica the central character of season 4, which means more Brandee Evans. So I kind of like this
I
theory.
wish, but I'm gonna say, as much as I don't want to leave the show. I'm like, put me in a nightmare or something. Like, I want to stay, but I also feel like we love seeing Emayatzy when she takes on those roles in the courtroom. So it's got to be a new case, some type of way. So even though Monica's coming a little bit, it's got, you know, they got to jump to something else because that's what keeps us going, is seeing her battle in that courtroom.
Yeah.
We love that.
Definitely got to be in the courtroom. There will definitely be a case. You know.
And that is a wrap on season 3. A huge thank you to the fans who never disappoint in the comments section. And of course, Emayatzy, Tim, and Brandee for just being incredible stars and for being here today. Thank you so much for that. If you didn't hear, we're coming back for season 4. So the story does not end here. And if you haven't watched this season, first of all, what are you waiting for? Second, how did you watch this whole thing? And third, all seasons of Reasonable Doubt are now streaming on Hulu.
Happy streaming!
We were right on beat. That was great. That was perfect.
It was great.